What are unethical practices schools do? Bullied and harassed students having the same repercussions as their bully for defending themselves. Zero tolerance policies. Oh, that kid hit you for no reason? Both suspended. Zero tolerance. Requiring you to purchase textbooks brand new from the college's bookstore because that's the only way to get the access code to complete the required assignments on the publisher's website. Our assembly room, gymnasium had the fire escape doors chained shut, and the police department was aware of it. Less severe but limiting kids' access to water, i.e. you can't have your drink bottle at the table. Which sucks when you live in Australia and at summer the temperature gets up to 36 C and school is during all the hottest hours of the day. I was a decently misbehaved third grader. Told my teacher I had a stomach ache and I needed to go to the nurse. I asked a number of times. She thought I was just trying to get out of individual reading time. My appendix burst on the bus ride home. Edit. I was never one to ask to go to the nurse. Just a hyperactive kid my teacher apparently had enough of. Denying medical attention to an 8-year-old seems unethical. This is not a "boy who cried wolf" story for all those saying, "I told ya so." This is probably very specific to my home country but period checks. Edit. I'm from Malaysia and yes, sadly this is a thing and I've witnessed it firsthand. Mostly to make sure girls aren't lying about their periods just to get out of prayer activities. Not allowing kids to use the restroom. Edit. As someone who was diagnosed with multiple reproductive issues at an early age, I had some pretty intense periods. And this rule made school even worse. Got the nickname, paint bottle. Because my school was infamous for denying the bathroom. They were closed to all students during a set time because of misuse. And I literally had no help from anyone at all. Never realized it was as bad for other people too. Edit 2. I cannot believe I have to say this. Stop DMing me asking for period pics, you disgusting animals. I had a bully in middle school grab and twist my thumb hard enough to snap tendon, or whatever is in your thumb. It's been a while, and nothing happened to him since he would have to sit out football if he was punished. Passing students that aren't ready for the next grade because they need to pad their passing rates to keep funding. It's setting the kids up for failure down the road. My daughter's best friend was running track and the coaches were yelling at her to run more laps. She told them her legs were hurting really badly so they yelled at her and told her to run another lap. She started crying because of the pain and ended up falling, breaking both kneecaps. As she lay there screaming, the coaches didn't even come to help her. One of the kids called 911 and when they showed up the coaches acted like they didn't know what to do with the situation. To make it worse, my daughter was on the volleyball and track team and they tried to do the same to her, but I went up to the school and went off on the principal and coaches about pushing the kids too hard just so the coaches could win their games. I sent my daughter to a rehab for her leg issues and they said her legs were stressed and the coaches were overworking her. So I will be taking this up with the school superintendent. Firing lunchroom staff for serving food to poor students whose families can't afford to pay. Only having one bathroom for open in a high school. There are thousands of kids. Giving preference to kids that parents donate money and fraternize with teachers, headmasters. Not letting kids go to the bathroom. God forbid you are a kid with a small bladder or a teen girl. Awarding perfect attendance. Encouraging kids to go to school while sick is pretty unethical if you ask me. I had a student who never showed up and never did work in my class. The principal asked me to change his F to a 75. I emailed back, explaining that the student never made an effort, etc. He told me to be a part of the team and do as I was told. I was only a second-year teacher and was afraid of losing my job, so I obliged. Same principal, a couple years later. We had a very large student, and as she walked down the bus ramp one day, some boys called out the bus window the filthy things they wanted to do to her while also calling her fat. I wrote them up and chewed them out. When the principal read the referral, he simply said, "Boys will be boys," and tore up the referral. To this day, I wish I would have asked him what he would have done if that was done to one of his daughters, but I was so shocked. It still boils my blood. Collective punishment. 1 or 2 pupils misbehave and the entire class gets punished for it. Well, I don't know about other schools, but when I came forward about a female classmate sexually harassing and emotionally abusing me, they shrugged their shoulders and asked if I tried saying no. I'm also female, by the way. She got away with doing it to 2 of my friends and another kid in her grade. She claimed he raped her, so she got transferred to my stagecraft class. Mind you, she made claims like that constantly. To the point where I was sure she was histrionic because she made sexual comments and stuff like that all the time. Also threatened suicide when I told her I didn't want to date her. Our teacher shrugged his shoulders and said, "Okay." Went to the counselor, and she told me, "Well, have you tried saying no?" Gee, why didn't I think of that? The last straw was when she touched my ass in front of everyone in class. As in poked my ass when I was bent over, working on an assignment. I went up to her, told her to frick off, and she never spoke to me again. Instead, moved on to one of my best friends. So in short, not taking stuff like this seriously. Women can be abusive or victimized just like men can be abusive or victimized, and it should be taken seriously regardless of the abuser's gender. Edit. I just wanna clear this up real quick. She made claims all the time about having been abused by family members and by other people. I wasn't denying what she claimed was true, but she talked about it all the time, especially when we'd talk to each other. As if it was to score sympathy from me. I have no way of knowing if what she said was true, but I was skeptical because it was a very common theme in conversations with me and the others she harassed, not to mention that she talked about it like it wasn't a big deal at all. We'd have conversations about anatomy assignments or about other school stuff and she'd just casually go, "Oh, this person raped me this one time." Out of nowhere. When I was in school they still could revoke bathroom breaks and some teachers still did when they made it illegal to ban them. Additionally, in my time for an entire year 7 to 8 grade 1 only had 1 hour of recess in my entire time. Because my special ed teacher felt that recess, which is mandatory by law, was a distraction, so what she would do is punish us so we couldn't do it. This caused a lot of stress and trauma and she even prohibited bathroom breaks. Looking back, I wish my parents sued.